11 Sports and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
You are looking live at downtown Buffalo, New York, home of the Erie Canal and the birthplace of Buffalo Wings, and also home to the four-time SFL champion Queen City Corsairs, who host the upstart Lone Star Glory from Cronpro Field. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Colin Northrup, alongside my analyst for this week, Robert Garrett Jr., Russ Casentagria is on stats. Cam Irvine is our producer. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great, Colin. Ready for some exciting football and a big matchup this week.
For the Corsairs, they made playoffs 8 of the last 9 SFL seasons. At 3-6, a loss today could really endanger their postseason journey. For this Lone Star Glory team, the young Ace Finnick has two powerful running backs behind him in Cameron Collier and Ike McBride. And for Queen City, they got to try to get Jet Zero going somehow.
Yeah, they have not been able to get Jet Zero going very much this season. Been quite the weak spot for them offensively. And as you said, I'd like to see them get him going today and try to get the ball moving.
Coin toss called by Liam Hammer of Lone Star. And they'll put that crushing defense on the field first. Robert, you've studied the statistics and the keys. What do you think Queen City needs to do in order to keep their postseason hopes alive?
I think the major thing they need to do is their defensive line has got to play aggressive as they normally do. Get Ace Finnick to be uncomfortable in the backfield and don't give him a whole lot of time to throw the ball.
Wally Herman kicks it off, and we're underway from Buffalo as Christopher Ochoa turns it up to the 24. So we're going to look at the veteran quarterback A.J. Caswell in his 8th season. Jet Zero is his tailback, number 40. Deezer Powell, Christopher Ochoa, and Chris Curtis are the wideouts. James Matthew Jr. is the tight end. Brady Tubbs Jr., Carson Miller, Alex Nettrower, and Griffin King are the offensive line. We'll go over Lone Star's lineup after this play. 1st and 10 for Queen City from their own 24. Low snap, Caswell fires over the middle, but it's knocked away, incomplete. Pass intended for Powell. 2nd down.
And great defense there by Brian Craven. You know, they liked the mismatch there. Deezer Powell on a linebacker. Thought he had the chance to catch it, but Brian Craven does his best job at getting in front of the guy and taking him away from the football.
Jukin Rukin, Yogi Barr, the defensive ends. Al Lewis and Hugo Reynosa are the defensive tackles. Lewis and Reynosa. First carry for Jet Zero. Up the middle, he picks up 5 yards to settle 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and Jet Zero there running a little nervous. It seemed like he wasn't watching where the hole opened up. He managed to hit it in the first level, but as he got to the second level, could not bounce that ball to the outside.
3rd down and 5, Caswell, and a split shotgun look back to throw. Hides all day, fires down the middle. Oh, but it's dropped by Curtis. Following a great hit. 3 and out, upcoming for Queen City.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure which safety it was for Lone Star, but the safety making a great play, knew he would not be able to make a play on the ball to stop Chris Curtis from catching the ball. So instead he made a play on the receiver, made some contact, tried to make Curtis show what he was worth, and ends up forcing the football out and making it an incomplete pass.
Ricky Matthews back to punt for Queen City. Lee Pato winning back deep for Lone Star on the return. And the return up the middle gets them to the 39. So we get our first look at Ace Finnick. The halfback is Ike McBride. Cameron Collier is the fullback. Wide receivers are Liam Hammer, and Dave Axe's tight end is Adam Williams. And the offensive line, center Marty Mandenfort, and tackles Rylan Caudell and Bobo Caudell. First play is handoff to Ike McBride, and she powers up for a pickup of 2, 2nd and 8. Tackle made, among others, by Jeff Duffy, number 53.
And Jeff Duffy does a great job of stopping Ike McBride before she could get any kind of head of steam going. Once she starts moving, it's real hard to take her down. And he wanted to make sure to get her on the ground before that.
The Glory lineup with 2 tight ends. And here's the give off to Cameron Collier. He's got a first down, a lot more. And he gets out to the Queen City 44. Tackle made by Albert Begin.
A great design play by Lone Star. Did a great job. Faked the running back to the outside to pull some of the linebackers away from the play as Cameron Collier hit the middle and went up the field.
We'll go over the rest of the Queen City defense after this play as Finnick fires a first down pass complete to Liam Hammer. Begin with another tackle. Jeff Duffy is the defensive end. Joining him on the defensive line are rookie defensive end Digger Graves and defensive tackle David Tilley. Jared Crow and Alu Afalabi are the linebackers. Cornerbacks are Farrell Rains and Ted Hayes. King Jamal, Albert Begin, and Kappa Jones are the safeties. Collier gets another carry, and he picks up close to 10 yards on the play to set up a second and very short.
Yeah, the first guy to make that tackle cannot be the free safety. Just a big body to go up against, and a small defensive back is not going to take him down very often.
Collier is 6'4", 260, so he is a load once he gets going. He's lined up with McBride in the backfield as again to go 2 tight ends. Give to McBride, second person through, and she picks up the first down at the 21 before Crow lays down a punishing hit.
Yeah, and Ike McBride made a great truck on that play, ran one of the defenders for Queen City over, but unfortunately for her offensive lineman was right in front of that hit. Couldn't quite gain any more yards as she got stuck on her blocker.
First and 10 from the 21 for Queen City. Finnick under center. Quick drop. Fires. Outcut. Second catch for Hammer. That'll pick up 4 yards. 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and that's 2 pass plays for Ace Phoenix, and both of them going to Liam Hammer so far. So Liam Hammer, playing at the number 1 receiver position, but actually not their main target. Main target is Adam Williams, the tight end, as we take a look at him right there. Nearly 100 yards over what Liam Hammer has on the season.
He is a big target here. He's lined up as one of the receivers at the end of the line next to one of the tackles. Finnick, though, goes up top, and it's another outcut caught by Hammer, his third.
Yeah, and as I said, playing the number 1 receiver spot for Hammer, if they're going to leave him open as they have so far, Ace Phoenix not going to hesitate going back time and time again, and they're going to continue moving the ball downfield. Queen City has got to put a man over Liam Hammer.
Again, they go weak eye this time. Collier in front of McBride. Queen City showing blitz opposite side of where the backs are lined up. Here's the good to Collier. First man through, and he does not pick up the first down. He'll be 2 yards short of the mark. Sets her in on the tackle, and Wally Herman will have to come on to try the field goal.
And that was a great job by Queen City stopping Cameron Collier. I thought he might have gotten the push, gotten the ball to cross the line, and gotten the first down, but it appears he did not.
They're lining up to go for it, and they get a jump. They get a jump, so it doesn't matter as they give it to the backup tailback lined up in the fullback spot. Let's see who the guilty party is from R62. Penalty called on David Tilley, and that'll cost his team a potential stop.
Yeah, and that was an unfortunate jump by David Tilley, as you said, cost them a stop as they tackled the backup running back. about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage on that last play. They had plenty of room and would have gotten the ball back, but they jump off sides, and Lone Star keeps the ball.
James Doty is the tailback lining up in the fullback position. He gets the ball and he powers ahead for maybe a pickup of one. Tackle made by Crow. 2nd and goal from the 6.
Jared Crow, a mid-season replacement for Queen City, just comes up and makes a big hit on the backup running back. Great play and way to read the football.
Collier's back in now after he gets a blow. And he'll get the ball right up the middle, but there's Crow again. Stops him at the line of scrimmage for no gain, setting up a 3rd and goal.
You know, a lot of defenses like to have their middle linebackers key in on the running back. Basically follow him. If he goes in like he's going to get the ball for a run, you're coming downhill. And it seems to be what Queen City is doing with Jared Crow here is he's just all over the running game.
Crow actually outweighs Collier by 5 pounds. He's 270. Collier gets the carry on 3rd down, and this time he gets in the end zone for a Lone Star touchdown.
And Jared Crow again came down inside, but this time they clog up the middle, and Collier's able to just power his way through, drag a couple Queen City defenders into the end zone.
Brilliant blocking by that offensive line up front, led by that center and those 2 massive offensive tackles. Wally Herman on for the extra point attempt. It's up and good. So with 5:12 to go in the first quarter, Lone Star leads 7-0. You're watching the Simulation Football League, 11 Sports and for the fans. So after the scoring drive by Lone Star, it culminates in the Cameron Collier 6-yard touchdown run. The Lone Star Glory lead the Queen City Corsairs 7-0. This return by Christopher Ochoa up the middle, it spins and gets knocked down to the 25. For Queen City, they've had difficulty, Robert.
Yeah, Queen City has had a lot of struggles offensively. On top of that, they have not won a game since week 6 against the Las Vegas Fury. And I think a big part of it, as we talked about before the game, is Jet Zero, 500 yards on the season, only 1 touchdown. Just not able to get him going.
Looking to get back on track here is Zero. He takes the handoff on 1st down, but only picks up 1 yard. For the Glory on defense, their linebacking core, it's a good one. Brian Craven is the inside linebacker, number 55. Doug Day is outside, number 54. Freddie Tremble, number 56, completes the trio. Lee Pato and Mickey McGuire are the corners. Thomas Smith and Lincoln Kingseed are the safeties. 2nd and 9. Give to Zero once again, and Jet Zero will pick up yardage to 28 to set up a 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, and Queen City trying to figure out how to get the running game going here. Gone a couple plays on the ground now. Still not really figuring it out, though. Only able to get about 4 yards between those 2 plays. Got to figure out a way to effectively move the ball.
They go 3 wide as Caswell will throw again over the middle, and this one is almost intercepted by Craven, who was there to knock it down almost immediately. And another 3-and-out for the Corsairs.
Yeah, and you just talked about the linebacking core for Lone Star. Craven, Day, and Trammell, three big guys who aren't afraid to hit, go by the Bash Brothers. And this time, Craven steps up in front of the football and tries to pick it off. Unfortunately, put his hands just a little too high, and it looked like the ball may have hit him right in the face mask.
I want to follow up that point earlier you made, Robert, about Queen City's struggles not winning since week 6. Agent Caswell has also had a problem with turnovers and nearly threw another interception there as Ricky Matthews is going to punt it away. Lee Pato waiting back deep, and Pato will return it up to the Glory 36-yard line. Queen City 7.5-point underdogs at home, over under 40.5 according to the boys at Jock's Data. Ace Finnick, though, coming off a nice touchdown drive, will look to continue more of the same. 1st and 10 from the 36. 2 backs in the backfield. Here's the get to McBride, and she'll get stopped on the line of scrimmage for no gain. Jeff Duffy with another tackle.
Yeah, Jeff Duffy made quick work of that offensive tackle, threw him off to the side, and immediately launched in at the legs of Ike McBride to take her to the ground.
Duffy, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, won it in season 14. 2nd and 10. Here's the get to Collier again. Collier up the middle, has all kinds of room, breaks 2 tackles before finally getting shoved down at the Queen City 41-yard line.
Yeah, and Lone Star is doing a great job right now with these misdirections. They send Ike McBride one way and Cam Coyer the other, and the linebackers have to choose who to play up on. And so far in the game, they've been choosing wrong.
I feel bad for Kappa Jones. He tried to hitch a ride onto the man they call the bull, but he fell off as McBride will pick up 1 yard here on 1st down. Tackle made by Barkley.
And Cam Coyer has been really the workhorse so far in this game. 5 carries for 37 yards to McBride's 3 for 4 yards. But Ike McBride's been getting the big hit plays that to keep Lone Star ahead of the chains more than anything right now.
For the Glory, it's 2nd and 9, and Finnick will throw, and his pass is complete, and that's the first catch of the day for Adam Williams down to the Corsair 22.
And what a great catch by Adam Williams, and an even better throw by Ace Finnick. Just dropped that ball right into the breadbasket for Williams, who was directly in front of the defender. Kappa Jones couldn't play on the ball and just had to focus on making the tackle there.
Williams, 6'6", 280, almost an offensive tackle size. Very inviting target for this rookie quarterback. As McBride gets another carry, shrugs off 1, but picks up 2. So you look at the quarterback comparison, Caswell may have the numbers in terms of touchdowns, but Finnick's throwing fewer interceptions.
Yeah, and other than the touchdowns and interceptions, these two quarterbacks have had almost identical seasons, very close, playing much like each other, and I think it's a good matchup to see today.
Collier gets another carry, and he only picks up 1 as Crow brings him down. He's averaging 8.1 yards a carry. He's up to 57 yards and that touchdown.
The defense fell for the fullback dive earlier, not letting it happen again. Jared Crow in the hole, meeting the running or the fullback there.
Glory have to be smart here on this 3rd and 7, and they'll give the Collier 1 more time. He only picks up 1, but it sets him up in good position for Wally Herman.
And Jared Crow again making a great tackle on Cameron Coyer. A lot of players make the mistake of tackling high, trying to take him to the ground from his shoulders, but Crow going low, hitting him in the waist where he bends to take him into the ground.
For Crow, that's already tackle number 5 And for Wally Herman, this is his first field goal attempt of today, previously with the Carolina Skyhawks. And he boots it through from 35, so with 35 seconds left to go in the first, it's 10-0 Glory in front of the Corsairs.
Yeah, and Wally Herman making another big play for Lone Star, as he has much of the season. You know, kickers matter too, and Wally Herman's been showing it on the season for the Glory.
Herman ready to kick this one away. Back to Christopher Ochoa. He boots it down to about the 2, and Ochoa returning up the middle, cuts to the outside, and gets up past the 20 to the 24.
And it looked like Ochoa wanted to try to put a shoulder into a guy and powered through him to keep moving the football, but was just swarmed by Lone Star players.
Queen City's had a couple of 3-and-outs to start this game. They'll start here with one receiver tight, 2 tight ends, and high formation. Jet 0. He gets the ball, second man through 0, running over 2 defenders, runs over a third before Brian Craven finally brings him down at the 41.
And Jet 0 showing what he can do, gets those legs moving, puts a couple defenders into the ground, and just gets down the field for his team.
His best run of the day, long of 20 on that run, according to our statistician Rosca Santagria. Corsairs will now go one receiver either side of the I formation this time. James Matthew Jr. Haven't heard from him yet. Here's a draw play to 0, but the Glory were ready for that one. As we reach the end of the first quarter, score is Lone Star 10-0 over Queen City. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the Fan. Welcome back here to Conpro Field in Buffalo, New York. The visiting Lone Star Glory out in front, 10-0. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Colin Northrop. Robert Garrett Jr. is my analyst alongside me as we start the second quarter with a 2nd and 9 from the 41 of the Corsairs. AJ Caswell back to throw, has to dump it off to Jet 0, and 0 gets a head of steam and picks up 9 yards to set up a 3rd and 1.
I'll tell you what, AJ Caswell saved that play for the Corsairs. The snap just a little bit low, had to go down and get it. Able to stay in the pocket, though. His offensive line gave him plenty of time. Couldn't find an open receiver and quickly gets the ball out to Jet 0.
Those are the 3rd down numbers coming in. These teams one spot ahead of each other in the category. Corsairs 0 for 2. They pick it up here. First down to Jet 0 to the Lone Star 39.
Yeah, Mickey McGuire just saved Lone Star from giving up a touchdown there, as Jet 0 had a full head of steam and was going downfield. A great job by McGuire to put a hard hit on him and take him into the ground.
And that 9-yard completion to 0 was actually Caswell's first. He was 0 for 2 before that. As you take a look at 0's numbers, 6 carries for 38 yards. Caswell under center. Gives to 0 again, and Jet 0 will pick up 5 yards to the 34. We approach under 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Jet 0 starting to heat up for the Corsairs now. Able to get ahead for a gain of 5 yards. Sure, it's not a massive gain, but it keeps them ahead of the chains, and 5 yards is good distance to open up your playbook.
Caswell, 2nd and 5 from the gun. 3 wide receivers, 2 backs. He's back to throw. Pops this one over the middle. Chris Curtis. No. Catches it for the touchdown. Corsairs.
Holy cow, was he wide open as he hit that post route perfectly. Got behind the safety, and A.J. Caswell didn't have to work very hard to get that ball in there.
Thomas Smith went for the swat but missed, and Curtis is able to take it in for a 34-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and a rookie mistake there by Thomas Smith. Instead of going at the veteran Chris Curtis, trying to at least challenge the catch, he goes for the interception and just jumps a little bit too early.
James Troll is the place kicker for Queen City, and his field goal is up and through. So with 9:37 to go in the first half, the Corsairs have cut it to a 3-point game, 10-7.
And I think their offense got a really good groove going on that last drive. They figured out a good way to attack Lone Star's defense, and I look for them to continue doing this as the half gets going.
Troll kicks it deep in the end zone, and it won't be returned by Pato. He'll down it, and the ball will come out to the 20. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, you're watching the first controllerless esport league where strategy and AI instead of thumbs determines the outcome. Teams that make game plans prior to the simulation, and the results play out live in real time with hundreds of viewers turned players, scouts, coaches, and team owners on the field to create all new kind of virtual reality. Visit Simulationfl.net for more info. And Cameron Collier continues his blistering pace as he's up to 76 yards for that last run.
Yeah, Lone Star just working the big man Collier there as they go for the same fullback dive they have, and it's working really well for them so far. Only been blown up a couple times. You got to assume they're going to keep going back to him.
You know, every time they run those plays, I feel like I'm watching a service academy every time they hand the ball at Collier. Finnick will line up in the gun. He's back to throw, fires over the middle, pass caught for the first down to Hammer.
And I got to commend the offensive line on that last play. Jeff Duffy got in there, broke past the tackle, and was making his way to Ace Finnick. But the guard and the tackle able to come together and work as a team to stop Duffy from getting any farther after that.
Finnick, 7 for 7 for 74 yards and a pair of passing touchdowns. 10.6 yards per completion. This time he goes down for a loss of 7 all the way back at the 41. John Setzer, the defensive tackle, breaks through.
Yeah, and just a misread there by Ike McBride. Maybe a delayed route as she was going towards the sideline trying to give Ace Finnick somewhere to throw the ball as the pocket collapsed, but didn't quite have the time to do so.
Sets up a 2nd and 17, and we'll see a gun formation with 2 receivers to the bottom. Gave access in the slot. He's yet to get a target. This one goes to Adam Williams, and he gets tackled right at the 50 to set up a 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and that's going to be the guy that Ace Finnick goes to most times, more so. As he, again, is a big-bodied tight end, and there's a lot of mismatches on the field if they get them set up correctly.
I formation, 2 receivers, same side, Axis and Hammer. Hammer in the slot. As Finnick takes a 7-step drop, fires it down to Williams, who can't quite turn upfield, and he'll be 2 yards short of the mark. Punt upcoming for Lone Star.
Yeah, just not enough field presence there. He didn't realize how close he was to the sideline, and when he did, it was too late. He tried to turn up field, and his foot stepped right on the white line.
William Zuderfeld is the punter for the Glory. This is his first punt of the day. Is away in the air, and Ochoa will let this one go as this will bounce inside the 5 and roll the end zone for a touchback. 7:12 to go. Lone Star in front by 3, 10-7. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the Fan. Well, Queen City takes over. 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. AJ Caswell under center. Jet Zero's the running back. Zero's second man through. They got backfield penetration. Did Lone Star, however. And Freddie Trammell records the TFL loss of 1, but Yogi Barr made that play happen.
Yeah, Yogi Barr didn't get the tackle for loss, but he did all the work, completely stopped Jet Zero in his tracks, and got the momentum going backwards.
Caswell out of the empty shotgun. First time we've seen this look today. Dime look from Lone Star. Over the middle of Matthew Jr., but he dropped the ball. He had it in his hands, but couldn't quite secure the catch, and it'll be 3rd and 11.
That's a ball that James Matthew Jr. never drops. Just unfortunate. The ball was just outside where he couldn't quite make the catch correctly, and Lone Star put a good hit on him at the same time.
Corsairs go empty backfield, 4 wide, including the tight end Matthews. Caswell, 6-step drop. They throw the out route, but it'll be incomplete. Out of bounds, intended for Curtis, and Eric Barkley. It looks like he's about to eat a sneaker as he talks to Curtis on the sideline there.
Yeah, AJ Caswell just throws that ball to the sideline. I don't know that it was the smartest choice, but it was what was open at the time. Maybe he could have held the ball a little bit longer and let the play develop a little more, but they're going to end up punting here.
Ricky Matthews standing at his own 3, so the Glory should get really good field position out of this punt. They don't come after it. They'll set up the return for Pato, who's standing on his own 40, and Pato gets up to the 42. As we take a look at these backfield duels, you see the numbers for both of these backs there, and they're quite effective, especially in the receiving category.
Yeah, I mean, the two backs for Lone Star are the workhorses of the offense. You know, Liam Hammer, Dave Axis, and Adam Williams, they make some flashy catches, some big plays, but it's mostly on these running backs.
Speaking of these running backs, Collier picks up 6 more yards, and he's up to 81 yards on less than 10 carries. Impressive so far. For the rookie picked in the 6th round, as Ike McBride will actually lose a yard, as the TFL is recorded by the defensive end, rookie defensive end number 75, Digger Graves.
Yeah, I mean, Lone Star's got to be really happy that they got Collier running at fullback, because Ike McBride just hasn't been able to make big plays so far this game. It's been on Collier's shoulders to do it as the fullback.
Finnick, 6-step drop, fires. Oh, almost intercepted on the play. Farrell Rains knocked that away, and Zuderfeld on for another punt for Lone Star.
Yeah, and that had to have been one of those plays where the quarterback must have thought he saw something that he liked, because, I mean, Dave Axis was double covered from like the second that football was thrown, and I'm not quite sure what Finnick was thinking there.
We'll have a punt from Zuderfeld, who's standing back at about his own 30. The ball is away, fielded by Ochoa, who will turn it up to his 16. And for Queen City, they're wearing their classic all-black uniforms with green and black striped socks. Always a classic here in Buffalo. For Lone Star, they're wearing blue helmets with white jerseys with blue numerals and white pants with a red stripe. Here's to get the Jet Zero up the middle, and Zero will pick up 4 yards. As you see, his average is 5 yards exactly.
Yeah, and he just about got it there. I would imagine they gave him about 4.5. So he powered through pretty well to get up to where he was. And to touch on your uniform comments, you know, I go back the one time I said Queen City reminded me of a bunch of walking glow sticks.
As Zero picks it up to the 25 to set up a 3rd and 1. I was taking a peek at the numbers from Caswell. He's only 2 for 6. He's 43 yards and that touchdown. And no interceptions, so he's kept it clean as far as that goes. We have 3rd down and 1. Powell lined up very tight next to one of the tight ends. Jet Zero will pick up the first down with ease to the 30.
Yeah, and Queen City's offensive line does a great job there at pushing open a hole and giving Jet Zero a spot where he can hit for that yard that he needed and a little bit more.
Notice they're running right up the middle between, looks like Freddie Tubbs Jr. and Nettrower, as Zero almost broke that one open big time there, as it looked like McGuire saved what could have been a long touchdown.
Yeah, Jet Zero made all the cuts that he needed to on that play. Bounces it out in the hole. The safety gets picked up. He takes it to the outside. Unfortunately for him, he just gets tripped up by Mickey McGuire, who yet again stops Jet Zero from running into the end zone.
Shotgun formation, 2 receivers to the bottom, Zero sidecar right, Caswell to throw. Will throw it out to the other tight end, who makes the catch and turns upfield for the first down. Catch made by number 89 for Queen City, Morris Jackson. Gets him set up in glory territory at the 44.
Yeah, Queen City's offense very interesting on this drive. Been quick hitting plays, whether it's on the ground or in the air. Caswell not holding on to the ball very long, making sure the receiver gets open quick and getting the ball out.
It's because they fear the man who was just on your screen, Jukin Rukin, the defensive end, 6'2", 320 in his 4th year, all with this team. Came over with them from Seattle. Dump off to the fullback, who only gets back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and the reason that ball was dumped off to the fullback is actually because, as you were talking about it, Jukin Rukin breaks into the backfield and was headed straight for A.J. Caswell.
Here is Caswell. Over the middle, pass complete. And that is the first catch of the day for the rookie wide receiver, Christopher Ochoa.
And a great play by Ochoa. Ball was thrown in kind of a sketchy spot by Caswell. Looked like it might have been picked off, but Ochoa able to get his hand in front of the ball and make sure to pull that catch in.
Will they get one play off before the 2-minute warning? It'll be pretty close. It's a 3rd and 1. They will with a couple seconds remaining, and Jet Zero picks up the first down. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and for the fans, Glory lead by 3, but Queen City on the move. Don't go anywhere. Coming out of the 2-minute warning, Corsairs trailing by 3, but they had the ball on the move on Glory territory, looking to possibly take the lead. And Alexander Nettrower from Winfield, Kansas is our offensive line player profile. Played for San Jose in the minor leagues. He makes his own barbecue sauce, and Hibiki Harmony is his favorite whiskey. Owns Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, along with games of the FIFA and the NHL series. Draw play on 2nd down. Will lose the yard for Jet. Set up a 3rd and 9. Doug Day on the tackle.
Yeah, I tell you what, I like me some good barbecue sauce. I may have to talk to Nettrower and see about trying some out sometime.
I'm with you there as Caswell on 3rd and 9 fires at the Curtis, but it'll be 4 yards short of the mark, and the Corsairs call their first time out with 1:02 left, 62 seconds left.
Yeah, and the logo wasn't quite able to get the first down on the play, but still made a just spectacular catch as he was falling to the ground, able to keep it on top of his chest and keep a hold of that ball to make the completion.
James Troll out to try. Will spot this just ahead of the 35. He's got a pretty big leg. We've seen him make one from 50 plus before. And Troll is good from 43. So after the Corsairs raced out to an early lead.
Yeah, James Troll, known for hitting these big game field goals for the Corsairs, able to knock that one in to tie the game just before the second quarter was up. About a minute left to go. So the Glory now pressured to see if they can put up a little bit of points or if they're going to just take the tie and go into the locker room.
After the Glory took an early 10-0 lead, the Corsairs have responded with 10 straight points. Lee Pato downs this in the end zone. The Who You Got poll, it was nearly 50-50. Lone Star got the majority of the votes in the end, 50.6%. And of our Discord community thought the Glory would win this game. And Ike McBride, that's one of her better runs today as she picks up 3, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, great job by Ike McBride. Getting a little bit of a push to gain 3 yards. Got hit pretty early in the play, but able to fight ahead and show her power to get 3 yards and make it a 2nd and 7.
We've seen a lot of this today. 2 tight ends and 1 receiver. This time it's hammered to the bottom of your screen. Here's to get to Cameron Collier, and that's not going to work. In fact, he doesn't pick up anything on the plays. Crow makes another tackle.
Yeah, Lone Star's gone to that play one too many times, and this time Jared Crow's there to meet Collier in the hole, take him down into the ground, and force a 3rd and long now.
6 tackles for Crow already as Finnick is back to throw. Fires down the field. Caught by Williams. Out of bounds at the 44 as time expires in the first half. You get another look at it here, Robert. I know you love some great tight end play.
Oh, yeah, just a quick out by Adam Williams. Able to get out in the open field, but swallowed up pretty quickly by Queen City shortly after he caught the ball. Not able to make anything happen as the first half comes to an end.
We reach halftime, and the score is all tied at 10 points apiece here in Buffalo, New York. So, Robert, as we take a look at the first half, statistics, what stands out to you the most?
I think the big thing right now that stands out to me is Ace Finnick, only 1 incompletion so far in this game. And then Cameron Collier, 80 yards so far in the first half, almost to 100, just 20 yards short in only 1 half. Not often you see a fullback have a game like that. He's just playing lights out for the Glory.
There we see some of his early runs here on some of these fullback dives. You know, Kappa Jones, I saw him play the Denver Nightwings a couple of weeks ago, and that guy got ran over a bunch of times by McChesney, but here's a nice throw, completion to Curtis. I think the Corsairs have found the answer to their passing attack. Caswell has struggled with multiple interception games many times throughout the year. This losing streak, as my broadcast partner said, they hadn't won since week 6 when they beat Vegas, but have shown good fight after being down double digits early, Robert.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that defensively has got to be the new guy, Jared Crow. 6 tackles in the first half of this game, just playing great, staying on both of the backs and ball carriers and making sure that they don't get down the field.
Adam Williams, the leading receiver for the Glory, he has 54 yards. On 4 grabs. Dave Axe is held without a catch the first half. Very unusual by the man they call the Divas standards, not to even have so much as a target, let alone no catches.
Yeah, you know, he was in the locker room at halftime yelling to Ace, get me the ball, throw me the ball, I want the ball. Hasn't been able to yet, but we'll see as they get the ball here first in the second half if Axis will get his wishes.
James Troll kicks off the Lipato. And this one will be fielded in the end zone. Coming out with it is Pato. Switches hands and gets knocked down at the 21. Get your player position locked and loaded today through our Discord server in the SFL Minor League, SFLM. There's now more opportunities than ever to be the player you always wanted to be. Join the Discord community through simulationfl.net. The second season of the minor league starts Friday, October 9th. Contact Andrew Rostelli on Discord for more information. As Ace Finnick will line up under center split backs. And he's back to throw, fires down the field, knocked away. Looking for Hammer. The defender got his hands on it, didn't see who it was. Second down.
Yeah, and while you were talking about the minor league, I'm looking at these two teams' rosters and just seeing some big names from the first minor league season. Ace Finnick, Cameron Collier, Christopher Ochoa, and Queen City. A lot of big names that came out of the minor leagues this first season. It's a big opportunity to get a part of.
And with expansion on the horizon, that means even more opportunities in the big leagues should you perform well in the minor leagues. Ike McBride picks up yardage to the 29 to set up a 3rd and 2.
And Ike McBride showing power there as she runs, just dragging the defender a couple yards ahead, able to get 3rd and short for her offense. And there's a lot of things they can do here out of this set.
They're only 1 for 6 on 3rd down, trying to get a conversion here. They'll get the Collier, and he picks it up easily as Afalabi brings it down. Collier now up to 86 yards, averaging an impressive 7.2 yards a carry for a fullback.
The craziest thing about that last play is Queen City actually shot the gap that he was running through, sent a blitzer, and the fullback was able to make himself small and fit through what was a much smaller gap.
Ace Finnick turns, gives to McBride, and McBride all of a sudden is finding running room. She picks up 5 on that carry.
And Lone Star so far on this drive, just continually going back to the running game, staying on the ground as they have much of this game. And, it's continued to work for them as they're moving downfield more and more.
Ike McBride, 19 yards and 7 carries. Collier with another carry, however, and he gets yardage. No, he doesn't pick up much, maybe 1, as Crow makes yet another tackle. This guy's going to have 10 plus by the time the game's over.
Yeah, Jared Crow again, just full steam ahead into the A-gap, stopped Cameron Collier from being able to go anywhere as he put the shoulder into the waist and folded him up.
Adam Williams had the first down right there as he was wide open, but couldn't make the catch as he was spinning around. The throw a bit behind him, and Lone Star starts off the second half being forced to punt.
Yeah, and you could see Adam Williams after the catch shake his head as he was going towards the sideline. Knew that he should have had that reception, and not only should he have had the reception there, but he should have had a touchdown. There was nothing but green grass ahead of him, and he was not able to make the catch.
Zuderfeld punts it away. It is returned by Ochoa up to the 27. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. 8:46 to go in the third. We're all tied at 10. Welcome back to this broadcast of the Simulation Football League from Buffalo, New York. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Colin Northrup. Robert Garrett Jr. is with me on color for the week. The Corsairs take over first and 10. Big shot on the very first play to Chris Curtis as they cross immediately into Lone Star territory, tackled at the 49.
And Chris Curtis has been the savior for the offense by the Corsairs. AJ Caswell been able to go to him all game and know that he's going to come up with the reception. Another big play there for him. And they're already at Lone Star's 49.
We have a shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers. Ochoa is in the slot next to Powell. The throw over the middle, kind of a funky looking throw to Curtis. He picks up 1. As you see the quarterback numbers, both quarterbacks have been able to keep it clean.
Yeah, no interceptions by either quarterback is a huge thing as this game gets later and later. Defenses are going to either wear down or they're going to get stronger, and we're going to see from both these teams what happens as the clock keeps ticking.
Throw up to 0, and Jet will pick up yardage to the 46. And take a look at the playoff standings. There's Lone Star right there at 8, followed by a bunch of teams hovering around 500 or close to 500. The Corsairs all the way down at 3 and 6, desperately fighting to stay alive. They cannot afford a loss at this stage. Caswell out route to Curtis, who makes a spin to stay in bounds, followed by another attempted spin. He'll get knocked down at 35 and enough for a first down.
Yeah, Curtis not necessarily known for making quick moves, making people miss, but he does it there as he hits a quick spin and the defender goes flying by him, able to get ahead for a first down for his team and get Queen City closer to the red zone.
Caswell gives off to 0, and Jet 0 will pick up 3 yards to the 32. Interesting helmet note for Lone Star. Their helmet stripe is actually white stars on a blue background. So it's a solid blue helmet all the way around. Kind of a cool aesthetic detail. Second and 7. Jet 0 on the carry, and 0 will pick up 3 more yards to the 29 to set up a 3rd and 4. Critical drive here for the Corsairs as they look to take the lead.
Yeah, and I think that the Queen City offensive line starting to get under the skin of Lone Star. At the end of that last play, a little bit of a pushing match between Hugo Reynosa and one of the offensive linemen for the Corsairs.
3 of 7 on 3rd down is Queen City. They run a draw, but nothing doing. Good tackle made by Lincoln Kingseed coming up in run support. And James Troll on to try another field goal attempt to give them a 3-point lead.
Yeah, it's the second time I've seen the Corsairs try that draw play, and neither time has it worked. Jet 0 just not able to get the time as the linebackers drop back and are away from the offensive line, have time to react to the play.
This 47-yard field goal by Troll is good. So the Corsairs, with 5:09 to go in the 3rd, take a 13-10 lead.
Yeah, and 3 points isn't quite the lead that they would have wanted, but it's the lead that they're going to take as James Troll puts a beautiful kick right between the uprights and takes the lead.
I'm looking at the FTF Next Twitch chat, and there's a lot of activity in there. A lot of people in there. Jeff Duffy, Albert Begin, Coach Craven, Ike McBride, among others I see in there. Appreciate you joining us on Twitch. If you want to chat with these owners, coaches, and players in the FTF Next chat, go to twitch.tv/FTF Next to meet the players you're watching on the screen today. Get involved, witness the passionate community, and follow all the action amongst the most dedicated SFL players. The FTF Next Chat is twitch.tv/FTF Next as Ike McBride picks up 7 yards.
And Afolabi just had a big hit to the back of Ike McBride, but she quickly pops back up and gets back to the team huddle, ready to go.
Again, they spread out. There's Dave Axis down to the bottom. Finnick, though, looks the other way to Liam Hammer. Picks up a first down to the 39. His 5th reception on 6 targets. Pretty efficient day for him.
It was a great catch by Hammer, too. Was completely covered by the defender, full contact, but able to bring that ball in and take it with him as he went to the ground.
Off the 39, 2 tight ends. Here's to get to Collier once again, and he picks up 6 more yards for his trouble. Or 4 more yards, rather, to make it 2nd and 6.
I tell you what, Lone Star are performing that play perfectly. Every time they come out in that play, snap the ball, I watch the running back expecting some kind of stretch. But instead, they got Collier going right up the middle.
And they call him the Bull for a reason. As the give to McBride, she'll get racked up in the backfield for a loss. Jeff Duffy records the TFL to set up a 3rd and 9.
And this time Lone Star did try to go off tackle with Ike McBride. And Queen City expecting it loaded up on that one side and sent a whole bunch of pressure. Lone Star not able to block it, and Ike McBride gets taken down early.
Trying to follow Rylan Cadell, but that didn't work. This a spinning pass out to Dave Axis, but it'll be just short. His first catch of the day, and he almost pulled off an acrobatic there.
Yeah, and if I'm Lone Star's coach, I'm watching that video screen in the stadium, rewatching that play and thinking about throwing the challenge flag. I believe Dave Axis might have had that ball across the line, but they're going to go ahead and punt the ball away.
We have 4th and inches from the 49, and they will punt it away. Fair catch called by Ochoa. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and for the fans, Queen City up by 3, 13-10 with 2:46 left to go in the 3rd. Don't go anywhere. Corsairs take over in their own 15, up by 3 at home over the visiting Lone Star Glory. AJ Caswell back to throw. Fires to the sideline. Pass is caught by Deezer Powell. His first catch of the day. Picks up about 9.5 yards, we'll call it. 2nd down and less than 1.
And Deezer Powell had a full head of steam there. You've seen as he went past the sideline into his team's bench area, accidentally ran over his teammate Pharaoh Rains. So hopefully they're all good over there on the sideline as the Corsairs get ready to snap the ball again.
0 up the middle, and Jet Zero will pick up yardage to the 30 for the first down.
And
as that's Doug Day's 5th tackle.
as much as Jet Zero has struggled so far this season, you got to commend him, especially for a run like that last one. Moving over from the fullback position, used to running like a big guy, but able to make himself small to fit through the gap.
Caswell, the throw, fire over the middle, complete. First down yardage, and Ochoa, his 2nd reception of the day, gets him to the 48 and another first down.
Yeah, and AJ Caswell has had all the time in the world in that pocket. Queen City's offensive line playing great pass protection, and Lone Star's really got to do something to get under AJ Caswell's skin.
Caswell, 10 of 14 for 111 yards, one of his better performances as of late. As Zero gets another carry, runs over a defender, picks up 7 yards as he continues what has been an impressive performance for him also.
Yeah, Mickey McGuire stopped Jet Zero from breaking off for a touchdown a couple times in this game. And this time, Jet Zero saying, not this time. Puts the shoulder into Mickey McGuire, puts him into the ground, and really only able to get an extra yard after that.
Picks up yardage to the 46 of Lone Star. 74 yards, 19 carries. Here's carry number 20. He nearly picks up a first down, but he stopped a couple of yards short.
Yeah, and you know what? On that play, I think he would have been even farther back, a little more short. But Juke and Rukin hits him in the back, which pushed him ahead for 2 or 3 more yards to set up this 3rd and inches.
Saw the running back comparison numbers there. They get to 0 one more time, and he doesn't get there. In fact, he lost a yard. Brilliant tackle made by that man, Juke and Rukin.
Yeah, and I don't know what Jet Zero was thinking there. Just his head got a little bit too big for him. Decided to try to run the ball between Hugo Reynosa and Juke and Rukin, 2 of the biggest guys on that defensive line. And they essentially stonewalled him. It looked like he ran straight into a brick wall at the end of that play.
In essence, those 2 men weigh a combined 650 pounds between the 2 of them, as the Glory will be forced to start inside their own 5, ball mark down at the 4.
Yeah, and the Corsairs got a perfect bounce on that play. The ball hit about the 3-yard line and bounced back upfield towards where Queen City was coming to cover the ball, so able to stop it at the 4. And you got to think Lone Star's thinking Cameron Collier right here.
Do they go to Collier, the fullback? No, they go to McBride, and Ike McBride runs over a defender as she pops a big one to the 19 as time has expired in the 3rd.
Yeah, and Ike McBride just bobbing and weaving through the different defenders, doing her best job at, avoiding tackles, and did pretty good at it until the end there.
We've reached the end of the 3rd, 13-10, Queen City in front. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the Fans. Welcome back here to Buffalo, New York. Start of the fourth quarter. Glory down by 3, 13-10, and Cameron Collier trying to change that as he picks up 9 yards as he's closing in on 100. He is 98 on 15 carries.
Yeah, and they just hit that misdirection again with Cameron Collier, send him directly up the gut, and Ike McBride to the outside. And for the most part in the game, it's caught Queen City's defense off guard.
2nd and 1. They go to McBride this time. She breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and picks up plenty for the first down to the 40.
And how about the speed from Jeff Duffy on that play? Was on the backside, fought through, got into the backfield, wasn't able to make the tackle, but then turned around and chased McBride all the way across the field. Didn't make the final tackle, but was set up there. If they needed help, he could have attempted to take him.
Absolutely brilliant running by the young rookie running back there as S15 goes down for the sack. David Tilley.
And I think that's the second sack of the game, if I'm right, by Queen City. Just doing a good job getting in there, making sure S15 stays uncomfortable and getting a big stop. Now 2nd and long for Lone Star.
Finnick under center, 2 tight ends. And they give to Collier. He only picks up 1. That'll set up a 3rd and long. And look who it is. Jared Crow once again.
And I think Jared Crow may have just hit double digits on the day. Officially 10 tackles, according to the stat man, Rosca Santagria. So Jared Crow been all over the field for the Corsairs.
S15 under center. The 3rd and 11. Medium drop back. Has plenty of time. Fires down the field. It's going to be intercepted. Intercepted on the play by Kappa Jones, the strong safety. As they went deep. We'll see who the pass was intended for, but a huge play. Pass intended for Adam Williams.
Yeah, and Kappa Jones just played that ball perfectly. Got off his feet, high pointed the ball in the air, pulled it down, and got his offense back out onto the field. And that's a painful one for Lone Star. First mistake by either quarterback, and it's kind of late in the game.
22 carries, 93 yards for 0. He's in the shotgun as Caswell is back to throw. Has pressure coming. Ducks out of 1 sack, but can't duck out of Yogi Barr's sack. Lost his 6. Oh, man.
Yeah, and if I'm back there at quarterback, I think I avoid that first tackle attempt, and I'm just throwing the ball to the sideline. I'm not going to risk that, trying to take any more hits like A.J. Caswell did there. So now 2nd and 16 for the Corsairs.
Same formation. Caswell has to throw on the run to 0, and Jet in his 2nd reception picks up 3 yards. Combo tackle made by Pato and Day. 3rd and 13.
Maybe I've seen it before and I just don't remember, but Colin, I don't think I've ever seen such a lobbed pass for a swing play like that.
I agree with you, Robert. Those things are usually thrown on more of a direct line. As Caswell throws again, this time out to Curtis, but it'll be 5 yards short of the marker as he gets tackled at the 49.
Yeah, Chris Curtis gets his team across the 50, but not much farther than that, as they were behind the chains to begin with after the big sack at the start of the drive, and weren't quite able to catch up to it, so they'll be coming out to punt.
Ricky Matthews again, as we're approaching 7:36 and counting to go in this game. Ricky Matthews' punt nearly blocked. Returned by Pato, only gets to the 13. So with 7:28 to go, Lone Star down by 3 on the road to Queen City, 13-10. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the Fans. Welcome back to Conpro Field in Buffalo, New York for this Simulation Football League matchup here in Week 10. Lone Star Glory line up in a bunch formation to the top. Ace Finnick back to throw. Fire over the middle. Complete to Adam Williams, who picks up 9 yards on first down. Set up a 2nd and 1. Finnick, of course, threw the interception last drive. He's now 13 of 17 for 110 with the 1 interception. Cam Collier with the 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. He's up over 100, I would think, and this puts him up over it well now as he gets up to the 35.
And, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that puts Collier up over the century mark for the day, over 100 yards rushing. Not something you see very often from a fullback. So congratulations to the big man. But I also wanted to point out just his power there. He actually got hit from behind by David Tilley, and all it did was make him faster.
Wow, pretty impressive run there. 1st and 10 from 35. Throw out to Axis, his 2nd catch, and this time it's good enough for a 1st down.
Naxos hasn't gotten the ball thrown his way very often in this game, but he makes it worth it to the Glory for that one. Shows all kinds of power, drags 2 defenders until he gets the 1st down, and then went out of bounds.
1 receiver to the bottom, that's Liam Hammer. 2 tight ends, balance line. Up over the ball is Marty Mandenfort. Here's the give to Cam Collier, 1st man through. He gets stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. And here's a look at Bobo Caudell. He's from Denton, Texas, previously worked in the software industry, now works in real estate investment, has traveled almost 3 million miles for work over the course of his working life. Is the father of the other tackle, Ryan Caudell. One of 5 father-son combos involved at the Simulation Football League in some capacity, as Ike McBride gets stopped in the line of scrimmage by Jeff Duffy, set up a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and I got to think being a part, obviously I'm not, but being a part of a father-son combo has to be so much fun, especially playing on the same team, on the same offensive line. You guys are pulling for the same thing. And
that's a very strange call as they run it on 3rd and 10, and they actually lose the yard. Digger Graves makes easy work of that. So obviously they trust their defense here.
Yeah, and Lone Stars played pretty faithful to their 2 backs in this game, and they do it again there on a 3rd and long. Not able to get anywhere as Queen City read that play fully and got into the backfield.
Zuderfeld's punt is away to Ochoa, who gets tackled almost immediately at his 16.
And Queen City gets a breath of fresh air, still up by 3 with just under 5 minutes left to go in this game. Plenty of time. They just got to play smart, keep moving the ball with Jet Zero.
I formation. 1 receiver either side. They run that draw play to 0, and Jet Zero turns on the speed and picks up 6 yards. For Queen City, they have 2 games left. Mexico City 6-4, Atlanta 5-5. You see the strength of victory there. 541 remaining strength of schedule. 545. So this game obviously critical for the Corsairs if they can hang on to these last 4 minutes and change. Here's to get to Jet Zero up the middle. Gains yardage up to the 23. Set up a 3rd and 3 for the Glory. They face Tulsa at 3-6 and Chicago for their 2 remaining games on the road in the Thunderdome there. You see their strength of victory as well as their remaining strength of schedule. It wouldn't be the end of the world exactly, but You need to get to 6 wins in order to at least feel comfortable. As Jet Zero picks up a first down to the 27.
And Jet Zero with a little shimmy there, celebrating that first down for his team. Just showing great poise and staying comfortable carrying the ball as he was being chased pretty much the whole time by one of the Lone Star defenders.
Caswell under the center. Letting this play clock wind down under 10. He'll throw. Has to be smart, but Deezer Powell dropped the ball thanks to Lee Pato. 2nd and 10 as the clock is stopped.
And I think that Lee Pato may have made a mistake on that play. Went in and defended on the receiver, made sure the receiver didn't make a catch. But he was set up perfectly to jump that ball and pick it off. And at that point, I don't know if anybody would have caught him on his way to the end zone.
We'll get another shot, but instead it'll be a 0 handoff. They only pick up 1 as we're fast approaching the 2-minute warning, 2:55 and counting, as Al Lewis is in on the tackle.
Yeah, you got to imagine that Lone Star is going to let most of this play clock tick down before they decide to snap the ball again. See if they can hold off till the 2-minute warning on giving the ball back to Lone Star.
They're in the shotgun, so they're going to try a pass. Nickel defense from the Glory. As Caswell throws over the middle. First down catch is made to the 42 by Deezer Powell.
And a fantastic catch by Deezer Powell just over the defender's head. And, it's a little too soon to speak as something crazy may still happen, but that could potentially be the dagger in the game. Headed into the 2-minute warning, and Queen City has a whole new fresh down set.
2-minute warning. Corsairs in front 13-10 over Lone Star, looking to salt this one away. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the Fan. Welcome back to Buffalo, New York. That's the hero of the day so far for Queen City, Jet Zero. 1st and 10 at 42. He gets another carry here, but it's going to be a loss of 2. And you start to see the Glory burn timeouts as we approached a minute 57 left in this game.
Yeah, this late in the game, Queen City's just going to continue to play the clock game, run the ball until they're needing to pass the ball, and just see how much clock they can tick down.
They like this wing joker set out of the traditional I formation. Here to give to 0 again. This time he finds a little more room to the 46. As he's fast closing in on 100 yards.
Yeah, Jet Zero showing all kinds of heart in this game. Every time you think that Lone Star may have figured out how to stop him running the ball, he breaks off for 5-6 yards like he did right there.
Will they pass here? They passed last time to convert a third down. No, they'll give to 0, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage. So the Glory will have one more opportunity as Freddie Trammell makes the stop with about a minute and change left by the time they get this ball back after the punt.
Yeah, they could have thrown to try and get the first down there and see if they really could have ended the game. But I don't think it was the worst move to run the ball there. Jet Zero's been playing lights out, and so far this season, AJ Caswell has had some interception issues. So I think that the coaching staff decided not to risk it and just let their defense come back out. They've been playing great so far.
Leopoldo returns it up to the 21. So a minute 41 seconds left. As you see the other games coming up on the SFL calendar right here on 11 Sports at 6:30 Eastern Time. We have Vancouver and Arizona, followed by Charleston and Portland on our SFL Twitch channel. Baltimore and Sioux Falls on Monday in the crowd play game of the week. I-35 rivalry between Florida and Jacksonville. They give off to Collier one more time, and oh boy.
Yeah, this is not the play you get stuck
in. And they're stuck in the same play. It's just unfortunate there.
Colin, I hope they have a throw in this formation they can check into.
3rd and 7. Collier picks up the first down, but they're taking an awful lot of time.
The offensive line's getting tired.
And it looks like they're going to be stuck in the formation. They need about 50 yards to get the field goal, and this is not going to do it. Here's to get the Collier again. And Cameron Collier will get stopped. 2nd, 3rd, and 7. And for poor Brian Craven, this is about a coach's worst nightmares. They got a 4th and 3. They haven't shown the ability to pass out of this formation. And get the Collier again. He's stopped. He's stopped by Crow. Why not? It's been so fitting. The guy who has double-digit tackles, most of them one-on-one in the hole.
And Crow puts the dagger in the game. 22 seconds left.
You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and for the fans, Corsairs trying to wrap this one up to move to 4-6. 22 seconds left, and AJ Caswell is going to down the ball here, and this should do it. Lone Star Glory put up 10 points in the first quarter, and it looked like they were going to run away with it, Robert. But the Corsairs showing why they're such a legendary outfit.
Yeah, Queen City just stepped up and played the defensive game that they needed to, was able to stop Cameron Collier and Ike McBride really from breaking out anymore, especially in the fourth quarter. Just great play by them.
As we take a look at the stats, they had the yardage, they had the TLP, but the one turnover was the Corsairs' advantage, and at the end it was the conservative play calling.
And Jet Zero coming into the game had 500 yards, adds another 107 to his season total. Just a great job running for him today, and it seems like maybe the Corsairs have finally figured out how to get him moving around the field.
Ace Finnick, 139 yards on 16 of 20 passing, one interception, quarterback rating of over 108. But for AJ Caswell, bit of a redeeming story. Threw for 120 yards on 18 attempts, completed 13 of them for one touchdown. But critically for him, no interceptions. And for Jet Zero, he made 2 grabs on the day, but had 96 yards on 29 carries. Jeff Duffy had 5 tackles. Jared Crow had 13 solo tackles and 1 assist. And the play of the game is Chris Curtis. 6 grabs, 82 yards, and a touchdown, 13.7 yards per catch.
Yeah, Chris Curtis played lights out for the Corsairs, but obviously I think honorable mention goes to Jared Crow. 13 tackles, 1 for loss, and a pass defense. Just great play by him.
Well, for those of us at the Simulation Football League, thanks to our statistician Rosca Santagria, our executive producer Cameron Irvine, and my color analyst for this week, Robert Garrett Jr., I'm Colin Northrup on play-by-play. Enjoy the rest of the games, folks, here in the Simulation Football League.